Hey guys, today is Monday, May 18th. Before we get started, I just want to talk to you about summer school. Make sure that you look for the link. I'll repost it again today. Um, we are going to do 6 weeks of summer school. It costs $30 for returning students, which would be you. June will definitely be online, 3 weeks of June. Then there's 3 weeks in July, and at the moment, we're just not sure. We're not sure if we will be able to do face-to-face classes. That's our hope. At the moment, we haven't been told for sure. Also, I wanted to remind you that Monday, May 25th, is Memorial Day, so we'll not have any school that day. Have fun with your family. All right, so today we're going to solve simple linear equations. So we're going to go through different levels of them, but we're going to start off with this one. Now, I know that some of you could probably figure out the answer in your head, but I want you to get used to the steps. If you had me in class for very long, you'd hear me call it the baby steps of algebra. These steps are real important, so just remember how this works. So we're going to consider the equal sign a wall. My whole goal is to find out what C is equal to. So since I want to know what C is equal to, I need to get C alone. Right now, plus 6 and 3 are attached to the C on this side of the wall. So I need to get rid of the 3 and the 6 so I can solve. The first one I want to do is get rid of the 6. So think of it this way. If you have $6 in your pocket, how do you get rid of the 6? Well, you spend it. So we always do its opposite. So it's a positive 6 right now. The opposite of positive 6 is negative 6 or minus 6. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So if I have minus 6 on this side of the wall, I have to minus 6 on this side of the wall. Now, I don't say 6 minus 6 is 0. I don't do that. What I do is I just cross it out because it doesn't exist anymore. All I have left on this side is 3C. 18 minus 6 is 12. Right now, this means 3 times C. Remember when it was plus, we did its opposite and we did minus. When it's multiplication, 3 times C, we're going to do its opposite, which is division. So we're going to divide this side by 3 and this side by 3. This goes away, leaving me with just C, which is what I wanted. And 12 divided by 3, 4. So I found out that C is 4. Now I could check myself if I was doubting myself. Remember the original problem was 3C? Well, we found out C is 4. So if I put a 4 where the C is, plus 6 equals 18. Well, 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 6. Does 12 plus 6 equal 18? Yes, it does. So I know my answer's right. Here's another one. I'm going to let you do it and pause the video, and I'll see you back here in a minute. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is draw my wall. Next thing I'm going to do is get rid of this positive 8. The opposite is negative 8 on both sides. Goes away. I have 2a on this side. 16 minus 8 is 8. Right now this means 2 times a. So I want to do the opposite of multiplication, and that's division. So I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. This now goes away, leaving me with just a, which is what I wanted. 2 will go into 8 4 times. I could check myself. I could say, put 4 where the 2 is. So 2 times 4, because I plugged a equals 4 here, plus 8 needs to equal 16. Let's see if it does. 2 times 4 is 8. Does 8 plus 8 equal 16? Yes. Now, if you did not get this right, stop this video right now, go back, rewatch those last two problems before you keep getting into more difficult ones. Okay, same kind of question. I've got to get rid of this minus 1. I do its opposite. The opposite of minus 1 is plus 1. This goes away, leaving me with 3x on this side 14 plus 1 is 15. I need to divide by 3 because this means 3 times x. So I need to divide by 3 on both sides. X equals 5. Okay, here's one for you to do. Pause the video. See you back here in a minute. Okay, so I do its opposite. The opposite of -4 is +4. Both sides. Goes away. 3c on this side. 14 plus 4 is 18. Now I need to divide both sides by 3. C equals 6. Okay, if you didn't get these, stop, go back, because it's going to get harder. So before you get into the harder stuff. Now this gets a little harder just because we have negatives over here. So let's go ahead and redo this. By the way, I put this in parentheses, but here it wasn't in parentheses because I honestly don't know how they'll write it. Both are correct. Some companies or worksheets, when they're referring to a negative number, they'll put the number in parentheses just to keep the sign different so it doesn't get confusing. But look, I could have rewritten the same question, 3c plus a -4, and I could have gone like that. It would have been the same thing, so I don't want that to really confuse you too much. So right now, I have a -10. What do? I do its opposite. So it's a +10 on both sides. This goes away, just like we've been doing. 3z on this side. Now, think about this. I owe you $19. I only have $10 to give you. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, got distracted. I owe you 19. I have 10. I give you the 10. Guess what? I still owe you $9. I was short $9. So it's a -9. Now I divide both sides by 3, just like we've been doing. I get a z. How many times will 3 go into 9? 3 times. But remember, one negative means the person didn't bring somebody to the dance to dance with, so it's a sad night. So one negative means my answer is negative. Now, if they would have both been negative, I would have had 2 people, and then, hey, it's a great dance. Nobody's left alone. So z equals a -3. I could even go up and check myself. 3 times -3, 3 times -3 is -9. -9 plus -10. I owe 9 and I owe 10. I borrowed 9 from you, then I borrowed 10 from you. Guess what? I owe you 19, so this checks out. All right, here's another one. Why don't you try this one, and I'll see you back here in a minute. Okay, all the signs are positive on this one. So you're like, why is this in this group? Well, look what happens. I have 5, so I need to do its opposite. So I need to put -5 on both sides. This goes away. Now I have 3a on this side. I have $2 in my pocket, but I owe you 5. Do I have enough to pay you? No. How much am I short? 3. So it's a -3. I divide both sides by 3. That gives me A, which is what I wanted. 3 will go into 3 once. I have 1 negative. So this guy's all alone. So it's a negative party. It's a -1. Okay, oops, a little more steps here. Okay, so once again, I do my wall. Ooh, but I have to multiply here and here. We've learned this in order of operations. You do parentheses first, but I can't solve this. 3 minus h I can't do. So I'm going to distribute the 2. I'm going to multiply the 2 to the 3, and then I'm going to multiply the 2 to the h. And why am I multiplying? Because the 2 and the 3 are butt up against each other. So I need to multiply. There's no sign in between to say any other way to do it. So 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 times h is 2h, and it's a negative. -6 equals -5h. So I copied this straight down the way it was. I copied this the way it was. The only difference here is this and this have been multiplied. Now I'm going to put like things together. I have a 6, and I have a negative 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. Negative 2h on this side, and over here I have negative 5h. Okay, now the answer to this is going to be 0. But at the moment, if this was any other numbers, you would not be able to tell. So what I need to do is I need to get my h's on one side and my numbers on the other. So right now I have a negative 2h here and a negative 5h here. Because we're creatures of habit and we're used to having the variable on this side, let's go ahead and move this over. So it's a negative 5h. So I need to put its opposite so it moves over on this side because I want to move it over here. So I'm going to put positive 5h. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. We know that this goes away because they're opposites. I owe you 2 horses, and I have 5 horses in my trailer. So I give you the 2 that I owe you. How many horses do I have left? 3. I have nothing over here. I need to move this number over. So in theory, I would do this. 0 minus 0 is 0. Oops, no, I would draw a line. I'm sorry. That would give me 0, and this would give me 3h. I'm sorry that I picked this as a sample question. This wasn't a very good one. I do have another one for us in just a minute. So you would have ended up with this, and you would have had h. How many times will 3 go into 0? It's 0. Let's see if this looks right, though. If we come back and put a 0 here, 2, well, let's do this. 3 minus 0 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Is 6 minus 6 is 0. Like I say, I'm sorry, that wasn't a very good example. Here, you try this one, and I'll see you back here in a minute. I think this one's going to work out much better. Okay, I hope you press pause. Here we go. I need to get all my D's on one side, all my numbers on one side. I am a creature of habit. We tend to like to put the variable on this side. So let's move this guy over. So the way I do it is I have 7D here. To get rid of it on this side of the equal sign, I subtract 7D. If I subtract 7D on this side, I got to do it on this side. So this goes away. So all I have on this side is 3, which makes more sense the way our brain understands it. Now I have 9 dogs, and you take 7 dogs away from me. How many dogs do I have left? 2. And 7 on that side. Now, we're just like when we first started way back here. We're like this. I have my number 2D would be just like this 3C. I need to get that alone, so I need to get rid of this 7. So the opposite of 7 is negative 7. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So my 7's go away. All I have left on this side is 2D. Okay, I have $3 in my pocket, and I owe you 7. Do I have enough to pay you? No. How much am I short? 4. Now, I only want 1D, so I need to divide by 2, divide by 2. Goes away. How many times will 2 go into 4? Twice. 1 negative when you're multiplying or divided means it's negative. How'd you do? Hopefully you did okay. All right, here is yours to try. It's got a lot of steps in it. Okay, first thing I want to do is multiply and finish filling this out, distributing. So 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times negative 3 is a negative 9G. Negative 7 over here plus G. All right, totally up to you. If you bring the 9 over here, the G's will be positive. More people are kind of used to routine of bringing the G over here. Either way. And it doesn't matter which one I do first. I can bring the G over and then bring the 3, or I could bring the 3 over first. Let's do that just to be different. Okay, so I need to get this 3 over here because I decided I want my variable, my G's on this side. So I need to get this 3 out of the way. So I write its opposite, goes away. I have negative 9G, and I owe 7. I borrowed 7 from you on Monday. Then I borrowed 3 more on Tuesday. So I owe and I owe. I'm adding to my debt, or the signs are the same. So add and keep the signs. 7 plus 3 is 10, negative 10 plus G. All right, now I need to get the G on this side. So I do its opposite. It's a negative G right now. So I minus a G over here. This goes away. I have a negative 10. And so here I owe you $9 and then I owe you 1 more. Or the signs are the same, so add and keep the sign. Okay, so right now I have a negative 10 G equals a negative 10. Okay, so I need to divide by what's attached to G, which is negative 10, and I need to divide by negative 10. This goes away, leaving me with G, which is what I wanted all along. Negative 10 divided by 10. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 2 negatives, nobody's lonely at the dance, so it is a positive 1. And we did it. That's our lesson for today. Go back, watch it over, anything you need to watch. And I will give you a quiz to work on for some practice, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.